Okay, so I want to start this deep dive with a scenario that I think is going to feel um, painfully relatable to, well, probably everyone listening.
Oh, I know this one.
It's that cycle, right? The
Yeah.
excitement and then almost immediately the shame. You know the one. It's Sunday night, you buy the fancy planner.
You unload the new app.
Exactly. You download the app, you set the
Mhm.
alarm for 5 a.m. because this is it. You are going to be a new you. You're going to crush it.
We have all been there, the optimization phase.
And it works for like 3 days, maybe a week if you're really on a roll. You're
Yeah.
drinking the green juice, you're journaling, you're meditating, and then life happens.
Inevitably.
You miss a day. Then another one, and all of a sudden that planner is just, gathering dust, and you just feel awful. You look at it and think, what is wrong with me? Why can't I just be disciplined?
And that's the core of what we're unpacking today. The thing is, the problem isn't you. It's not that you're lazy. It's not a lack of discipline. The productivity advice itself is, well, it's fundamentally broken.
That's a huge claim. I mean, you scroll through social media, you look at the best sellers, and it looks like it's working for everyone else.
That's the illusion.
It really is. Everyone seems to be running 3 companies and an Ironman before breakfast.
Right. So today we're doing a deep dive based on an article called Why Productivity Gurus Make You Feel Like a Failure. Our mission here is to totally dismantle what they call the guru playbook.
Okay.
We're going to expose all the hidden privileges, the financial ones, the biological ones, that make that advice possible for them, but, kind of impossible for the rest of us.
And then find a way to actually get things done.
A way that fits into a real chaotic, messy life. Yes.
I am so ready for this
Okay.
because honestly, I am so tired of feeling like a failure just because I didn't run a marathon before my coffee.
Yeah.
So let's start there. The guru.
Right.
We all have this image in our heads, don't we? It's usually a guy, let's be honest.
Usually. Yeah.
Wakes up at 4 a.m., meditates for an hour, reads a book a day. He acts like he's just cracked the code on being a human.
And the whole implication is, I did this, so you can too. You just need to buy my system.
Yes.
But what this article does so well is it peels back the curtain on the reality of their lives. It forces you to look at their actual situation, not just the advice they're selling. And when you do that, you find this massive list of hidden advantages.
Okay, let's unpack these. I need to hear them because I think we all sort of suspect they exist, but we don't know the specifics.
The biggest one.
Teams.
Teams. Like, what do you mean by teams?
I mean staff, assistants.
Yeah.
When a guru says, I clear my inbox in an hour, what they're not telling you is that someone else filtered out 90% of it first.
Wow.
They have people handling their scheduling, all that shallow work, the boring admin stuff. So they get to focus purely on the fun, high-value work.
That makes so much sense. But to play devil's advocate, isn't that the goal? To work hard so you can eventually hire help? Sure, for an entrepreneur, maybe that's a long-term goal. But the problem is they're selling the daily routine of a CEO to someone who is still the janitor, the admin, and the manager of their own life.
Right. I'm over here trying to book my own dentist appointment while I'm on hold with a cable company, feeling guilty that I'm not also writing a novel.
Exactly. If you had someone to sit on hold for you, you'd probably write a novel too.
Yeah.
And it goes beyond just work. Let's talk about caregiving. This is a huge one.
Oh, this hits home.
The article points out that a lot of these big productivity names either don't have kids or they have partners and nannies who do all the heavy lifting.
Ah, yes.
There's this great line in the source that really stuck with me. The 5 a.m. workout is easier when nobody needs you to make breakfast and find their shoes.
Find their shoes. That is the most real sentence I have ever heard. You can't have a miracle morning when you're on a frantic hunt for a toddler's left sneaker.
Precisely. And that's the core disconnect. The advice assumes your time exists in a vacuum, that it's 100% your own.
But it's not. For most people, time is shared. It's not a solid block. It's confetti.
Yes, exactly. And there's another point about the type of work they do.
Intrinsic motivation. Right.
Yes. If your job is to write books about how to be productive, well, that's probably pretty engaging for you. It's creative. It's your passion. Now, compare that to someone doing data entry or working retail just to pay the bills.
Yeah, it's easy to have laser focus when you actually love what you're doing.
Mm.
A lot harder when you're forcing yourself to finish a spreadsheet you hate.
And speaking of paying bills, that brings us to the financial cushion.
Another huge one.
A very common piece of guru advice is Learn to say no to opportunities.
Oh, I've heard that one a million times. Protect your focus.
But that is a luxury. That is advice for someone with a lot of money in the bank. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you can't just say no to an overtime shift because it cuts into your deep work block.
Yeah. There's a line that comes to mind. Strategy is a privilege. Survival is immediate. It feels like a lot of this is just wealth management advice disguised as time management advice.
That is a perfect way to put it. And the last one is biology. We just forget this one. Some people are literally genetically wired to need less sleep, or they have naturally higher energy levels.
So telling everyone to just wake up at 5 a.m. is ignoring, well, science.
Pretty much.
So if I'm hearing this right, comparing myself to a productivity guru is like me, a casual jogger. Comparing myself to an Olympic athlete who has a personal chef, a coach, a masseuse, and no day job.
That is the perfect analogy. And yet the advice is sold as one size fits all, and that's why it feels so bad when it doesn't fit. You think you're playing the same game, but the rules are completely different.
Okay, so that covers the lifestyle gap. But the article also gets into the philosophy behind the advice. It brings up Oliver Burkeman, who wrote 4,000 Weeks.
Fantastic book. I recommend that to everyone.
Me too. And it talks about the unspoken assumptions that are kind of baked into all this advice. What are we buying into without even realizing it?
There's definitely a hidden contract. And the first clause in that contract is the assumption of control.
Okay.
The whole guru playbook assumes that you have complete control over your time.
Which, as we just established with the Finding Shoes example, is completely false.
Right. Most of us have bosses, clients, kids, aging parents. We are part of larger systems that demand our attention, whether our color-coded calendar says so or not.
It's the whole I'm the CEO of my life thing, but in reality, most of us are in middle management at best. We still have to report to other people.
That's a great way to put it. And the second assumption is maybe even more damaging. It's what the source calls the machine mindset.
The machine mindset.
The belief that we should always be optimizing for output.
Oh, I feel this one in my bones. The idea that if I'm not producing something, an email, a report, a clean floor, then I am wasting my time. I feel like I should be relaxing efficiently.
Exactly. It totally dehumanizes us. It turns a person into a factory. But the whole point of life isn't just to produce. Sometimes the best use of time is rest, or play, or connection. If you optimize everything for output, you lose all the things that actually make life worth living.
You just become a very efficient robot?
And that leads to the efficiency trap. This one blew my mind a little because I thought efficiency was the goal.
Me too. Explain why it's a trap.
So we think that if we just get more efficient, we'll finally have free time. If I can just answer these emails faster, I'll be done.
Right.
But the paradox is the faster you answer emails, the more emails you get.
Because people know you respond quickly, so they send you more stuff.
Precisely. It's like adding more lanes to a highway to fix traffic. It just encourages more cars. Efficiency just raises the bar. The goalpost is always moving. If you prove you can do 10 tasks in an hour, the expectation just becomes 11.
That is so depressing. It's a hamster wheel that just speeds up the faster you run. The reward for being efficient is more work.
In many jobs, yes. And the last big assumption is the system fix.
So I am so guilty of this one.
The idea that the perfect system will solve everything. If you're struggling, it's just because you haven't found the right app, the right planner, the right color coding method.
This is productivity porn, right?
Yeah.
Spending 3 hours setting up a perfect Notion template instead of just doing the work.
Yes. The article nails it. Organizing the system becomes a form of procrastination. It feels productive, it gives you that little dopamine hit, but you haven't actually made any real progress.
Okay, wow. So we've got these gurus with all these hidden advantages selling us advice based on a bunch of false assumptions.
Yeah.
But I really want to talk about how this feels. Because when you try this stuff and it doesn't work, the emotional toll is so real.
It is.
You're left thinking, well, if the system is perfect and it's not working for me, then I must be the failure.
That's the tragedy of it all. The industry is almost designed to make you feel broken so you'll buy the next solution. But the expert in the article counters this by laying out the real constraints. These are the things the gurus totally ignore, but that define most of our actual lives.
Let's list them. I think people listening really need to hear this and feel validated.
Okay, first up, energy availability. And this isn't just, did you get 8 hours of sleep? This is chronic illness. This is depression. This is the general burnout of modern life. Your energy reserves just aren't the same if you're managing a health condition, period.
And the advice is always just push through. mind over matter.
which can be really dangerous advice.
Mm.
Then there's cognitive load.
The mental load.
Yes. Remembering to buy milk, signing the permission slip, managing the emotional temperature of your home, that uses up the exact same brain power you need for deep work.
You can't spend that energy twice. I love that. If my brain power went to diffusing a toddler tantrum, I don't have left over for a brilliant strategy document.
Exactly. It's a finite biological resource. Then, of course, we have financial pressure. The constant stress of paying bills eats up a huge amount of mental bandwidth. You can't be strategic when you're in survival mode.
And one that's getting more attention now, which is great, is neurodivergence.
Huge. The article specifically calls out ADHD and autism. Standard advice like just sit down and focus for 4 hours can completely backfire for a neurodivergent brain.
It can be literally painful.
And yet, the advice is always presented as universal. So the takeaway here is that the advice universalizes a very specific, very privileged set of conditions. It wasn't designed for most of us.
Okay, I feel so validated. I don't feel like a lazy failure. But now I'm getting anxious again. I still have to get things done. I can't just throw up my hands and say, well, the system's rigged. Time for Netflix.
Of course not. And that's where the article pivots to what it calls the anti-guru approach.
Okay, what does that look like?
The first step is the hardest one. It's to accept reality.
Oof, that sounds a little like giving up.
It's not giving up. It's getting real. Stop trying to live the guru's life. If you only have a 30-minute window before the kids wake up, that is your window. Don't compare it to some fantasy 4-hour block. Work with the life you actually have.
That's actually pretty liberating. Stop warning the life you don't have and start using the one you do.
Exactly. And that leads to the second strategy. Lower the bar.
Lower it. But isn't all the advice to, like, 10x your goals?
And that's why we burn out. The guru playbook demands perfection. Real life requires sustainability. So the expert asks, what is the smallest version of this habit that you will actually do?
Not the version you wish you'd do.
Right. Consistency beats ambition. 5 minutes of writing every single day is infinitely better than planning to write for 4 hours once a month and then never doing it.
I like that. It gets you started. It removes the friction.
Now, this next one is my favorite concept from the whole deep dive. The difference between input versus output.
Okay, break this down for me. I definitely judge my day by my output.
Most of us do. Did I get the promotion? Did I finish my to-do list? But here's the truth. You don't actually control the output. You can't control if your boss likes your work, or if the market crashes, or if a client is in a bad mood.
But that's what we stress about constantly.
We do. But you do control the input. You control the effort you put in. You control the habits. You control how you show up. So the advice is, judge yourself on your input. Did you sit down and try? That's the win.
That is a massive mental shift, taking the pressure off the result and putting it back on the process.
Precisely. And the final strategy here is recovery is part of the work.
Yes. Say it louder for the people in the back.
Productivity culture treats rest like a reward. If I finish all this, then I deserve a break. This approach treats rest as fuel. You simply cannot do deep work if your tank is empty. It's a biological fact, not a moral failing.
So we're lowering the bar, focusing on what we can control, and actually sleeping. This sounds healthy.
It sounds sustainable. It sounds like a life you can actually live.
Okay, let's get tactical. I need a tool. I can't leave without a specific hack. The article mentions something called voice processing. What is that?
It's essentially thinking out loud, but using technology. The article mentions voice notes on your phone or transcription tools.
So why voice? Why not just journaling?
Think about the little pockets of time in your day, the margin. You're doing dishes, you're commuting, you're walking the dog. You don't have a 4-hour block of silence.
Right.
Writing requires you to stop, sit down, get a pen. Voice has no setup. You just talk.
So you can do it while your hands are busy. And it's fast.
Much faster. We speak at about 150 words per minute. It's about reducing friction.
I love that the article calls it chaos friendly.
That's the key. If you're journaling and your kid runs in, you lose your flow. With voice note, you just hit pause, or you just keep talking while you deal with the interruption. It doesn't need a quiet, perfect space to work.
And it removes the performance anxiety.
Yes. When we wrote, we self-edit. We want the sentence to be perfect. When you're just talking to yourself, it's raw. It's just thought. It's not a system you have to perfect. It's just getting the clutter out of your head.
It sounds like the perfect tool for someone who has realized the guru lifestyle just isn't for them. It's messy, it's fast, and it fits in the cracks of a real day.
It meets you right where you are.
So, to wrap this all up, we've realized The game is kind of rigged, the gurus have a whole support crew we don't see, and the advice we've been beating ourselves up over was never even designed for our lives.
And that leaves us with permission. I think that's the biggest takeaway. Permission to stop trying to be this idealized, perfect, productive person. You're not broken. You are just using a map for a completely different country.
That is such a relief to hear.
Yeah.
The goal isn't to become a machine. It's just to find a way to navigate our actual lives without completely burning out.
And to redefine what productivity even means for you, not for some guy with a staff of 10 in Silicon Valley.
I love that. So here's the thought we want to leave you with today. It's a bit of a challenge.
We spend so much of our lives defining our productivity by how much we produce for other people, for our jobs, our families, the world.
So the question is, if you stopped defining your productivity by how much you produce for others, and you started defining it by how much energy you preserve for yourself,
Yeah.
what would your day look like tomorrow?
It's a big question, but it might just change everything.
Thanks for diving in with us.
Take care of yourselves.